Good afternoon and welcome to the Wavy Digital Desk. Today we're talking about the Walk to Defeat ALS. It's something that is happening in Virginia Beach this weekend. You can see the details up on the screen right now on November 4th. We have Christine Duque with the ALS Association here with us today to talk about the event, to tell us more about what it means for the community, and how you can get involved. So I'm going to bring Christine on now. Christine, thank you so much for joining us today.
Sarah, thank you so much for having me. I always love the opportunity to take a few minutes to talk about the Walk to Defeat ALS. It's something that I've been doing for about 9 years myself. So yeah, it just means the world to the people that we serve. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I know that it's important to this community as it is across the country nationally, which we'll get into. But just to start, can you just tell us a little bit about what the walk actually is and sort of where it's bringing, proceeds and funds and awareness?
So the Walk to Defeat ALS has been going on for over 20 years across the country. It started very, very grassroots, just a real small event locally. And over time, right, this has grown to something that is by far the ALS Association's signature event, our largest fundraiser of the year, something that our families really look forward to every year, right? So what is Walk to Defeat ALS? It's kind of like a family reunion for the people that we serve. They love to come out and be with other people who are dealing with the same disease that they are. It is a rare disease, right? So it's not something that folks get to see their own people all that often, right? So it's an opportunity for them to gather, for families to get to know one another. Of course, more than that, maybe is the opportunity for the community to rally around our families living with ALS, to let everyone know, right? This is a fatal disease in all cases. There is still no cure for ALS. We're working on finding effective treatments and, of course, a cure. But this fundraising is vital for folks living with ALS because we're also looking to make ALS a livable disease. We want people who live with ALS to kind of live life on their own terms, right? We want them to live longer, of course, until we can make this a thing of the past. But in the meantime, we want folks to be able to engage in the world, right? However they want to, whatever that looks like to them. And it's different for every family. Again, the fundraising has to be there to support the care services that we do for folks, of course, advocacy, and then also research. ALS Association, we're super proud to be a leader in that space in terms of funding research, second only to the government. So all of these things we find are really what it's going to take to cure ALS. And that's really what the walk is all about, right? This is how most folks find out about us for the first time. And we're so glad, right? Because that keeps folks coming back year after year. It's a really fun sort of family and friends feel kind of event.
Absolutely. And I want to go back to something you said, about people are going to be at this event whose lives are touched by ALS in some form, but also the community seeing that support, seeing them be lifted up, hopefully, by those neighbors and by those friends. Can you just talk a little bit about the aspect of people coming out, to the walks that are affected by ALS and sort of maybe what that means and what that looks like?
I'll say, when we talk about our families dealing with ALS, we like to make sure that we're letting folks know, if they don't, right, that because of what ALS is, right, it's a neurodegenerative disease, right? So it means that the brain is no longer able to talk to the muscles. That means over time, people are losing their abilities to walk, to speak, and to breathe, and eat. Essentially all functions over time are lost. So it's a big deal that they're coming out to this event at all. I think that for some families, it might be even too much of a burden. We're so grateful to those who are able to come out, whose families, caregivers, and friends make the effort, right, to again rally around them and support to get them to this event where they can see, again, other folks who are dealing with the same disease and see that community support. I think it's a hard day, but a beautiful day for those folks. Again, really nothing like it. Save maybe we have an advocacy conference that we did, especially pre-pandemic, bringing everybody to Capitol Hill, right, to to rally around, right? Again, support for people living with ALS. That's hundreds of people, right, living with ALS in one place for that huge cause. But again, the beauty of the walk is that this is happening here in Tidewater and then across the country, right? We have these little pop-up Walk to Defeat ALS events, a sort of a mini version of that same thing, anywhere from 5 families coming out to a walk to, my goodness, 25, 50 families coming out to a walk and bringing, again, their supporters. In some cases, our teams are, hundreds of people strong. It's just incredible. I think Tidewater Walk, I think we're expecting about 450 people to come out. And I know we've got, again, I think, at least 5, if not 10 families that are planning to join us. In our region, though, the DC, Maryland, Virginia region is sort of how we capture the number of people that we serve. And at this point, it's just around 900 people a year for that area. So, again, a little snapshot maybe in Tidewater, but the impact of the fundraising is really far reaching, right? Again, our region across the country and funding global research, right? Which is what's going to get us to that cure.
And speaking of the funding, I did do a check before we hopped on this live chat, just to see sort of where it was. And it did seem that, funding and donations for the event for this weekend do seem to be almost at the goal, which I think is really exciting for you all. So that's great. And that's even before the event, with the whole week lead up. So hopefully that those numbers get there. I did want to ask too, for people going out to the walk, as you said, for people that did not know, there still is no cure, even though there's treatments and innovations and things, in motion. But how important is that for you all to have an event to raise awareness and funds, especially when things are so, in motion and you're still waiting to sort of find that technology and that research?
Mm-hmm. And it's crucial, again, for our families, the walk and other opportunities like this to raise awareness, right? To be able to speak with you today, right, Sarah? To have Wavy come out and broadcast, right? Which I understand is going to be part of this. You all have a team that comes out and gets to continue to talk about the good work that we're doing. It's yeah, everything, especially right in smaller areas where maybe we don't have quite the same population of people living with ALS, right? All of these folks count, right? Their stories matter. Getting to raise up their voices, even when they don't have voices. We have folks who come out and use their assistive technology to speak to the challenges that they're facing, right? And how grateful they are to all the folks who are able to come out and make a difference. I feel like the Walk to Defeat ALS is really it's the proof, right? It's showing folks the evidence of the good work that we're doing, and again, an opportunity to make sure folks know, right? Anywhere from big cities all the way to teeny tiny towns, right? Everybody's support is needed. We don't know which dollar is going to find that cure, right? So again, grassroots opportunities for us to let even another 2, 3, 500 people know what ALS is. Again, that it's rare, but that for folks dealing with it, it doesn't feel like that, right? And that you can't unsee it, right? It's one of those things. Once you recognize ALS, you see it sort of all over your community. You'll see it in media, right? You'll just more and more about something like that, the more you'll see it. Again, not at all feeling rare to us working in the cause, to our volunteers, and certainly not to our families. So yeah, whether it's again 5 people or 100 more people who learn about ALS because of events like this, it's everything, right? It's how we fund our incredibly important work, but again, also just how we spread awareness about the need for research, for advocacy, right? Making sure we protect the rights of folks living with ALS, but also increase funding, right? The advocacy that we do locally and across the country is what gets us accomplishments like increased funding from Department of Defense or the National Health Institute, really, really big dollars. Again, just having somebody know more than ALS is Lou Gehrig's disease, right? If they know, right, the way that it robs people of their abilities, if they know about assistive technology, right, and the very amazing things that help people engage in the world that they the way they want to, right, even just that knowledge, right, is so valuable, in some cases more valuable than just the dollar, right? We spread that like wildfire, and again, from there the dollars will come, right? When you feel moved to do something about it, and that includes those generous gifts.
Right. And then, in terms of the ALS Association, how important is this event, in the calendar? I mean, is this the one that really sort of gains that public awareness and gains those funds for you all to do the work that you do throughout the year?
I mean, it's yeah. Again, it's our pipeline, right? It's how so many people find out about us, right? And then can learn more about the other events that we have going on, fundraising events, about opportunities to engage locally in advocacy efforts. Or again, coming on over to our national advocacy efforts as well, even signing up online to become an advocate. Yeah, this is where folks learn about all the wonderful things that we do. It's where folks learn about right the three prong approach that we have to making ALS livable disease. Right, I mentioned again the advocacy, course research, but then our care services as well. People coming out maybe who are newly diagnosed to these events get to see folks who attend our clinics to make sure that they have multidisciplinary care that's state of the art, and really again from every discipline kind of helping these folks with all of the many needs that they have. Yeah, newly diagnosed folks get to learn more about our grant program. They learn more about our support groups that we offer, and again, the clinics that we have in their area. Yeah, so for the general public, it's just learning more about ALS. For our families, right, again, it's feeling connected to each other, and then also getting to learn more about what we offer them, what we can do for them. So many of our families fundraise as well, which is incredible. But frankly, that's not really the point, right? It's to celebrate them, to lift up their voices, allow them to tell their stories, share their stories, and again for everyone to see, sort of how these folks are connected to our community, part of our community, right? And why they need our help.
Right. And, I just want to say, for people watching, for people wanting information, there is a link that is up right now on Facebook and YouTube. And it will be up on weeby.com. That's where the landing page is for more information about the event this weekend. It starts in the morning. It's a 1 mile loop. I'm sure you can do what you can, of that 1 mile loop, but just showing up and supporting and being there is such an important thing. And if you're not able to walk, there's other ways to just support and donate and so forth that you all have listed as well on ALS Association's website, as well as the walk website. Christine, I did want to ask too, for people that don't know as much about the ALS Association, and you just gave a little bit of bullet points there of some of the, resources that you do offer families, but, what are some of those things that you all really do, I guess, in terms of helping that community that you really want to highlight or want people to know?
Yeah, I did mention our patient care grants. That's something that we're incredibly proud of. So that is something that, right, as long as folks are registered with us, right, if they have a diagnosis of ALS, they can register with us and be eligible for a patient grant. The cost of living for ALS is about $250,000 a year. It's just astronomical, right? Completely nuts, and so burdensome, right, for our families. So these patient care grants are going to cover things that insurance won't, right? It's just trying to help folks, yeah, fill in the gap, and not necessarily in a huge way, but again, something that we're super proud of. I mentioned the support groups. We have support groups for people living with ALS as well as for caregivers. And then we have a virtual home modification and safety assessment program to help people make sure that they can see what they need for their home, right? To make sure again that they're living the way that they want to live, that they're safe, feeling good about feeling prepared for what may come, right, as the disease progresses, making sure that their home has what it needs. We have a compassionate kinship program that is helping with caregiver support, right? respite for our caregivers is crucial. This is, it's an expensive disease. It also is a disease that means folks often will need round the clock care. So, whether that's a friend, a family member, or paid care, right? There's still that burden on friends and families. So we want to try to do something for them, help connect them with their community, right? And have sort of a wraparound support for our caregivers. We also have a ramp reutilization program. Ramps are something that folks, I think, probably it's not super glamorous, not necessarily something that people think about as being, I mean, very important, but again, also very costly. And we're finding ways to make sure that unfortunately, when someone passes from ALS, we can take something that was used in a home or at a business and use it somewhere else, right? So those things sort of live on. And the same is true for our durable medical equipment program. So rollator walkers, power wheelchairs, and manual wheelchairs, right? That folks can use as long as they need them at no charge. Often insurance will cover those sorts of things, but we're not going to make any kind of assumptions about the care that people have, right, or what they have available to them. We want to make sure that in all cases, no matter where you live, right, no matter how much you make, we're taking care of you as best we can. And then our clinic partnerships really, it's another huge piece of what we do in terms of the care services. So we're talking about, I mentioned multidisciplinary sort of wraparound care. Folks go for a visit at one of our ALS clinics. They are, again, getting state-of-the-art care. They're talking with folks about their assistive technology, about their speech, right? They're meeting with physical therapists, nutritionists, right? Just kind of on and on and on. Any way that you can imagine someone being affected when they are, again, over time, no longer able to eat, walk, swallow, and then eventually breathe, right? We have all of these different disciplines, and we have all those folks in one shop, right? So it's a long clinic day for our families, but again, all in one place, right? Making sure that they have everything they need. So we're funding those clinics, right? And we're also have staff that go into the clinic, right, and are able to meet with our families to sort of connect the dots for them, right? Make sure that they know about all of those folks that are helping at clinic, and then again that they know about all of the additional services that we provide, the ALS Association.
And thank you for that overview. And I know that this is more of an overview conversation today, but what's the best place for people to go if they want to look up more information, whether they're on the side of, wanting to donate and learn more, or if they're on the side of actually seeking help for maybe their family member or friend?
I mean, ALS.org is going to be sort of that one-stop shop. Our website is going to have resources, again, connecting the dots for people who are living with ALS. Also for doctors, we have tools to help them think through whether or not some symptoms that they're seeing might be ALS. A tool called Think ALS. That information is also available on our website. To the general public, right, about what ALS is, again, why the funding is so important. Of course, we've got opportunities to donate or get involved with our events, get involved as a volunteer, and can't underscore, right, the importance of advocacy as well. Would love for you, Sarah, if you haven't already signed up to be an advocate, hop on and find out about how to do that. It's something where, like so many other efforts, we've got that opportunity to email, right, your legislators, and also call them, right, tweet them, kind of get in touch in all the ways when we have, right, a need arise where either the protections for people living with ALS are compromised, or right, we're trying to push something through, right, additional funding, or something specific, better access to medications, right, that they need, things like that. Yeah, if you haven't done that, you should go go sign up to be an advocate. Yeah, all those things would be at als.org.
Right. And so you will really touch everything. We've talked about awareness today, we've talked about fundraising, resources, and then also that advocacy part, of reaching out, of trying to, I guess, sort of push legislation or, policies ahead to sort of help with that community.
Exactly. Yeah. Again, I think that there are lots of amazing nonprofits out there. Advocacy is something that I'm proud, right, that the ALS Association does really well. We have over the past year and a half, 18 months, 2 years, really started to dive into local advocacy efforts as well and seeking, state funding. It's just game changing, right, in terms of what we'll be able to do to move the needle with research, right, and then of course also to fund additional creative projects like grant reutilization. That's a hard one to say. And other, sort of interesting ideas, right? I think we have another area of the country that's doing an art program for people living with ALS, right? Right. That's another way that people want to engage with the world, right? So for some folks, that's what making ALS livable would be about. Yeah, we're going to want to get creative, right? And we're going to need additional funds for those sorts of things. Yeah, advocacy dollars can be crucial for that.
Definitely. Well, Christine, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. I know that you all are busy planning these events and getting to work, so I don't want to take too much. But, I give you the floor if there's anything else that you sort of want to highlight, either ahead of the walk or just about the ALS Association in general.
Yeah, well, I would be remiss if I didn't specifically shout out some things about the Tidewater Walk to Defeat ALS this weekend. So, want to thank the YMCA at Camp Brom, specifically Christy Bodnar, their executive director and her team for hosting the walk on site there. And then also we have this walk in collaboration with the Virginia Gentleman Foundation. So we just want to thank them for their ongoing collaboration and support. I think you had it up there on the screen, right? That the walk itself, registration opens at 10. Opening ceremony will probably be about 10:45, 10:50, and then a 1 mile walk at 11 a.m. We're rain or shine. I think we're going to have okay weather, maybe a little chilly for a morning, but not too bad. Well-behaved pets on a leash are of course welcome. I believe there will be a DJ and free barbecue, fun awards for our top fundraisers and for I think like most team spirit, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful day, and hope that everyone will hop online, register to join us, and or make a donation, whatever you feel moved to do. We hope we see you out there. Thank you so much, Sarah. Really
Absolutely. And just, to anyone who is out there, is watching now, is watching later, because this will be up on Facebook, wavy.com, and YouTube later. Team Wavy will be out there. So, stop by, say hello to the team that's out there, and be a part of the walk with everyone. So, Christine, thank you so much for joining us today. And to everyone out there, go to wavy.com to see more information about how you can get involved.
Thank you again. Thanks so much, Team Wavy, for the support. We'll see you on Saturday.
Thank you.